Let me get this straight. You blew up a building.
2 CIs and the CEO of 22andU.
2 competing federal agencies with the same mission.
I don't understand why those Fed a-holes are so darn mean.
To protect the public from the scourge of dangerous misinformation.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
The word entrapment, not even in their vocabulary.
The explosives we provided were fake.
Sworn to a duty to always tell the truth.
We have no indication at this time that this was a deliberate act.
We're all being transferred.
To where?
The only place currently with openings. Alaska.
Good morning.
Welcome to the office, huh?
And we got the retro feel. You know, the funny about federal buildings, they're all different, but they're still somehow all the same.
Oh, good morning, Agent Walker. At the coffee station. We actually drew straws before he got here, and I won, so we get to work together.
Let's get started. Let's see if we can't stir something up.
Let's give it a minute. I like to warm up the truth muscles, a little coffee beforehand.
Well, what do you want to do first?
What do we have for a surveillance van?
Oh, wow. I got a Ford Explorer. We don't have a surveillance van.
Do you put many cases here?
Cases?
Yeah, cases. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy.
You really believe this? You really believe that people posting crap online is going to cause our country to crumble?
I think the work that we do is important.
We don't have a surveillance van.
Me and some people got one. We've never needed one.
We need a surveillance van. We need a big case or a CI who can lead us to a big case.
What do you need the van for?
Surveillance.
CIs, or confidential informants, are the lifeblood of any good law enforcement agency. Public posts on social media are one of the best ways to find CIs. Agents would never use coercion or take things out of context to try and persuade someone to become a confidential informant.
New Taylor Swift single is absolute fire. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here.
Agents always need to be on their toes and ready to make snap decisions.
Is there anything I can do for you guys? Actually, David, there is something you can do for us.
Chicky nuggies.
Chicken nuggies.
What?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. McDonald's cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Burger King cheeseburger.
Flame broiled.
Chicken nuggies.
Oh, baby, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be your beaver pilot. Said, honey, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be.
Awesome, right?
Is this a loner?
This thing's totally legit.
What is this? It's got windows!
And we are live. Whoa. Echo. All right. How is everybody doing? Benny looks like he's doing good. So yeah, welcome to the show. This is our little mistakes were made live stream from Anchorage, Alaska. We do all kinds of stuff here. Right now, we are reviewing the Karen Reed case and the daily shenanigans that happen in that case. And there are daily shenanigans that happen in this case. Daily. I don't know what else you call it, but shenanigans. Like, yeah, still, my favorite part so far is the Regis part where she, the judge asks, is that your final answer? Is that your final answer? Oh, I love it. I love it. Like we're in, like you're Regis freaking Philbin now. So yeah, so welcome. I All right. I think the microphone's sounding pretty good. I don't know. See how that transfers through the evening. I took all of the processing, most of the processing off of it. So, and I got rid of the voice mod. So no more, unfortunately, no more angry girl voice, but I think we'll be okay without it because, you know, I think I like it better like this. I think it's sounding pretty good. And hey, howdy, hey. Oh yeah, back in the gallery. I'm sitting in the press area, facing away from everything. But yes, I am back in the courtroom tonight. Oh man. And we got the dogs with us here. Everybody's milling about. Cat went to get hay. So we'll see how that works. Yeah. So yeah, today's trial was another strange day. We started out, so yesterday we had a day off because it sounded like Karen Reed was sick. And so when I said to Michael, I said, hey, the defendant called in sick today, so we're not going to stream tonight. Or I'm not going to stream tonight because, I always check with Michael if he wants to join me or not. So I'm like, hey, the defendant called in sick. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess in that instance it was. And so we, so today we got testimony, I guess. So last time they called both of the kids. Now, when I say kids, they, obviously John and Karen did not have any kids themselves, but John's niece and nephew went to live with him after their parents passed away. And so he was raising his niece and nephew. Last time, trial one, both niece and nephew testified in that trial. And I guess today, just the niece testified. So I got a couple of sources. That's how the day started out. Now, that's always tough. And I'm wondering how the jury took it because, one, this is a young and impressionable young lady, and who's now, I just graduated high school, it sounds like, according to reports. She just graduated high school. So, but, the last interaction she had with Karen was that morning, and she's never really interacted with her since, except seeing her while she's on the stand, which has got to be tough. So Ted Daniels from NBC. No, where's Ted Daniels from? Ted Daniels is it just says Emmy Murrow and Harvard Goldsmith Award recipient, beach skiing nonfiction source protector. Maybe he's just I don't know where Ted Daniels is from. It doesn't say on his bio there. So okay. He was in the courtroom. And we'll talk a minute about who's in the courtroom because it's really weird. It's really, really weird. So let's look at his testimony. So let's look at Ted Daniel. He's one of the reporters in the courtroom, and he's reporting on the testimony from the niece. So he says, testimony of JOK's niece is complete. Media restriction lifted. Prosecution did not call the nephew this time. Niece testified that KR, Karen Reed, and John O'Keefe's relationship deteriorated after New Year's Aruba trip. I remember hearing him, John O'Keefe, say the relationship was good, but it had run its course. She was very upset by it. She was yelling louder than JJ. She said, KR woke her up at 4:30 a.m. on 129. The defendant came to my room. She told me my uncle never came home. She was very frantic. The defendant was asking what could have happened and asking, could I have done something? Got hit by a plow. Later that same day at One Meadows, she, KR, just said to myself and my grandfather that she thought she was living in a nightmare. On cross, niece told David Unetti, KR, to watch her play sports, took her to visit a private school, helped her plan her birthday. So this is, I think there's better. Let's look at Sue. So bear with me, that's not the right one. All right, I don't know why I'm all the way down the bottom of her page, but let's see. Okay, so that was after lunch. I know she had a weird thing this morning about her thread kind of got weird. All right, that was the after lunch one too. Gosh darn it. I did not have time to get much done today, like set up this morning, so. And her, yeah, shoot. Sorry, pardon me. Man, I know there was some other really good testimony or so let's see. I know somebody else had a good write-up about it, but I'm not seeing it here. I'm just looking through Andrea's stream because thought maybe she had caught it. So basically, and I wanted to get into one other thing, but so basically, her entire testimony was about how the relationship was not doing the greatest. It was coming to an end. There was having a lot of fights. She did, though, mention that in Aruba, that John O'Keefe was kissing somebody else. It was one of the Aruba girls. I don't know. I can't remember what the heck their names are. Sorry, I'm just looking through here. And then, so then on cross, though, is, Unetti got up and asked, just kind of clarified their relationship a little bit. She was calling Karen the defendant while she was testifying. And what Unetti said was, well, you didn't call her the defendant before, right? And his no, I did not do that. But I'd like to point out there's this goofy guy that is one of the reporters that covers this case inside the courtroom. And his name is John D. Petro. I guess he's from Rhode Island, so he's from that area of the town or whatever, or from that area of the country, right? So Yannetti asked her if during their relationship, during that time when they were together at John's house, did she, his niece, call Miss Reed the defendant? And of course, the niece said, no, I called her Karen, right? So Mr. DiPetro, or whatever, comes on and says from the courtroom, Yannetti asked her not to call Karen the defendant. The Sinclair sisters, thank you. Yeah, the one with the head shake on the stand. She was a total nard. So John DiPietro claimed that Yannetti asked her not to call Karen the defendant. That he said that that's what Yannetti said. Don't call her defendant. Not that he asked the niece, did you call her the defendant when you guys were together? No, he claimed that he just came out and said, don't call her the defendant. And other people pointed out that no, his question actually was, did you call her the defendant when you all were together? So that's the kind of weird stuff that people like John DiPetro do, because they're completely on one side. Now, I am on one side. I am not a neutral observer in this thing at all. I think that Karen Reed is getting railroaded. I do not think that she ran into John O'Keefe. Whoa, Vader, what are you doing, buddy? Oh my God. Hang on. Stuff falling everywhere. All right. Okay, sometimes 13-year-old dogs get caught up in cords. So I do want to point out, though, that John DiPetro has blocked you. And I'm pretty sure I called him some kind of name at some point in time and told him what a dork ball he was, but probably in a little more cross language. But I mean, this guy is just and he's always on court TV, right? Which court TV, that's another thing. If I'm going to go on a rant for a minute, court TV is like heavily prosecutor side in this trial. Like the people they bring on are mostly pro prosecution people. Court TV has to have access to courtrooms to do their broadcast, right? If court TV, pardon me if I'm making noise here, I apologize. Court TV has to have access. I can see why Yannetti's trending. Why is Yannetti trending? Court TV has to have access to courtrooms to run their system, right? Like if they don't have access to courts, then they can't broadcast trials. So I kind of get why they are pro prosecution, but in cases like this, when most of the people that you have on your shows are all pro prosecution, because you got, you have this John DePetro, and you've got, one of the Julie Grant, who is actually a court TV person. She is just crazy against any, she is totally 100% prosecution. And bear with me, and I got to open a window. I'll be right back. Getting a little stuffy. I forgot to open my window. So, yes. And like I said, I am not unbiased. I am on one side, and I understand there's people on the other side. They are. But if you look at this case and think that there isn't anything but reasonable doubt, then man, you got, and some people are just, I don't know if it's jealousy or what it is, but anyway. But yeah, it said Yannetti was trending, and I don't know why. So photo of Karen, Lisa, Liza, Yannetti, and Jackson at my mother's Cutlets, an Italian bar in Boston. This Karen Reed updates is actually a really, I mean, if they post a lot of stuff, but then they post some a lot of like behind the scenes stuff too. And so then they post links to like all the channels, except mine. They don't post my links, but anyway. But then, they'll post stuff like this, but it seems as though that like when Karen goes out in Boston, especially, I mean, she's really received pretty well throughout the city. And then this case is this case is amazing because it's basically got its own like ecosystem around this case. It's got its own, not only does it have people on both sides that are very, very passionate about things. I mean, you have tons and tons of channels that are following this thing. Like, look at all the legal people that are following it. Not my channel following it, everything. It's an opportunity, it seems, for a lot of people to, it's created a giant stir. And so it's also created and let me see if I can find it here. So at the last year, there was a buffer zone. Yep. Oh yeah, no, he said that today. That was the testimony today. He said, don't call her to defend it. That's what John said today, that he said, don't call her to defend it. And people jumped his crap, man. You can see all the posts in there. It said, no, that's not what he said, dude. So yeah, no, I think that was his reporting from today. So Canoni, the silly judge, set up a buffer zone around the courthouse and said, you can't there we go, Mark Randazza, that you cannot be within 200 feet of the courthouse, right? And Mark Randazza is a First Amendment lawyer. Basically, the cases that he takes are mostly First Amendment cases, or Mercada. because this was Recada's lawyer it wasn't Recada's lawyer for the criminal case. This was Recada's lawyer against that weirdo. Oh gosh, the guy that sued him, that Monty, who came in Recada's chat, started raising all kinds of hell, and then sued Recada for responding to him. As far as I know, it's still dragging out. So Mark Randazza actually took that case. Mark Randazza sued about the buffer zone around the thing. They're saying you can't go 200 feet without. You can't protest within 200 feet of the courthouse. And so they took it up to, they sued the circuit court, said, nope, judge is allowed to do it. They appealed to the United States Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals came down and said, nope, you cannot have this buffer zone. You have to have there has to be a reason for it. You have to have a mens rea. You have to have actual reasons for it. You can say you cannot raise a ruckus around the courthouse. That is one thing you do, but you can't just bar people from not being in front of the courthouse, right? So they kicked it back down, and then they didn't. And then nothing was really done about it. And hang on, let's see. So basically nothing, like a couple days went by and nothing was done about it. Oh, this was actually the one I was just showing. So they filed again and said, hey, you guys said that this buffer zone needed some work and nothing's being done. So the court is in receipt of the plaintiff's appeal's emergency motion for clarification to enforce this court's May 9th. May 9th is when the court came down. So that was Friday. Friday, the appeals court said your buffer zone is not legal. Nothing was done Monday or Tuesday. So on today, or maybe late yesterday, they filed again. Defendants appealees, that is the Commonwealth, shall respond to the motion within 48 hours of the issuance of this order, entered May 13th. So that was yesterday. So the Commonwealth has until tomorrow to answer the Court of Appeals to say, what are you going to do about this buffer zone that is illegal and not against the first, and it's totally against the First Amendment, basically. So then this person named Erica W., she is a fan of Turtle Boy. She last week was in the buffer zone. She was wearing this same sweatshirt. This woman is standing on a public sidewalk. She has on a sweatshirt that says, I think it said Norfolk County is run by criminals or something along those lines. And on a public street, the state police made her take off that sweatshirt, told her she could not wear a sweatshirt that said Norfolk County is run by criminals. So she took her shirt off and she had a Turtle Boy shirt on underneath it. And they said, made her go to her car and said, that shirt is not legal either. You cannot have that shirt on. The Massachusetts State Police is telling people what they can wear and telling them that they cannot say anything against the government on a public street. So today, she has the same shirt on. And they try it again. The Massachusetts State Police tries it again. So let's watch this video.
For the fucking day.
There is some cuss words in here, I do believe.
We have an issue with this.
And I'm not, why am I not hearing it? And did my, yeah, my earplugs, my headphones.
For the fucking day. We have an issue with this before. You're walking through here with the sweatshirt.
Didn't we have an issue with this before? You're walking through here with the sweatshirt. You're walking on a public street with a sweatshirt with words that I, as a government official, do not like.
Leaving. I'm not congregating. I'm not protesting. I'm fucking leaving.
Right, but what's the rule?
There's no rules about this one. It doesn't say Karen Reed.
It has to do with the case, right?
No, it doesn't. It has to do with something else. A guy whose kid was just murdered.
What do you got in the back?
It's full of fucking words.
Relax. Okay,
all right, you know what?
I know. All right. Go ahead. It's being documented.
Take me. Go ahead.
I'm not doing that.
Take me. Wait. What? You had fucking guys detain me last week. I asked you to leave.
Go.
You haven't talked
Are
to
you
me
leaving?
since.
Are you leaving? She's leaving. All right, good. We don't want to have this.
I need you to send me that.
Good.
So you're telling me if she stood there that she would get arrested for having a fucking sweatshirt on? Massachusetts is the second stupidest place in the United States. Massachusetts is ridiculous. This woman needs to sue the state of Massachusetts. She needs to sue these two troopers individually. She needs to sue the state of Massachusetts because you cannot tell a person that they cannot wear a sweatshirt. And if you're trying to tell people that they can't wear clothes that talk about the case 200 feet away from the courthouse, there is an issue. There's a big time issue in Massachusetts if that's the case. Massachusetts. Do these people in Massachusetts not realize how big of a influence that the people from there had on the framing of our Constitution? And especially the Bill of Rights, which the very first item in the Bill of Rights is freedom of speech, freedom to say the government sucks, that the government is criminal. You can legally say the government is criminal anywhere you want.
Every time you walk. You're not kidding.
You're delusional. You're a fucking troublemaker.
Okay.
You're a troublemaker.
All
You're
right,
a lying
let's go.
piece of shit.
Right.
To use us for information. For the fucking day.
So they need to file suit against. Oh, wait. Maybe they have. Oh, no, really. We have a filing. Erica Walsh is the plaintiff. Jeffrey Noble, in his official capacity as superintendent of the Massachusetts State Police, John Does 1, 2, and 3, in their official capacities as Massachusetts State Police officers, and the personal capacities, Trial Court of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Beverly J. Cannoni, in her official capacity as Justice of the Superior Court, and Michael Morrissey, in his official capacity as the Norfolk County District Attorney, are the defendants. The Massachusetts State Police have taken an unconstitutional order in the Karen Reed trial to force women to go nearly topless if their outerwear contains messaging they don't approve of. Superior Court Judge Cannoni pretextually shut down all First Amendment activity within an ill-defined buffer zone declared on the streets, public walkways, public library, and private property surrounding the Dedham Courthouse. Judge Cannoni entered the order ex parte, enjoining plaintiff and everyone else who are not subject to her jurisdiction from speaking on private property and on traditional public fora. It is a lawless, ultra vires act that violates constitutional guarantees of free speech and due process. Cannoni had no power to impose the buffer zone, and now the zone is being enforced in such a draconian manner that the Massachusetts State Police are using it as a license to accost members of the public and to shut down the even quiet speech of a woman walking peacefully with words on her sweatshirt that offend police. This is an open and shut case. I mean, to remedy this wrong, plaintiff Erica Walsh brings suit against the trial court of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the second stupidest place in the United States, Beverly J. Cannoni in her official capacity as the Justice of the Superior Court, Jeffrey Noble as Superintendent of the Massachusetts State Police, and Michael W. Morrissey in his official capacity as the Norfolk County District Attorney, acting on this unconstitutional order. Jeffrey Noble is sued in his official capacity only as Superintendent of the Massachusetts State Police. Defendant Michael Morrissey is sued in their official capacity as the Norfolk County District Attorney. John Does 1, 2, and 3, and Massachusetts State Police officers are sued in their official and personal capacities. Those are the ones you saw in the screen telling her that she can't wear a sweatshirt. This just makes me so freaking angry. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I have seen. I mean, of this case, we know how ridiculous it already is. Then you put this buffer zone in there. Then you have cops that say you can't wear a sweatshirt that says, All right, the parties. We know who the parties are. Jurisdiction and venue. This court has subject matter jurisdiction over the civil action. Factual background. On or about January 29, 2022, John O'Keefe died. On or about June 9, 2022, a true bill is returned to the trial court of Commonwealth, Superior Court Department, Norfolk County, indicting Karen Reed and charging her. A trial in the Reed case was held in 2024, which resulted in a mistrial after the jury failed to reach a unanimous decision. A second trial in the Reed case began on April 1st, 2025, herein titled Second Trial. Prior to the first trial, the Commonwealth filed a motion to inter alia create a buffer zone beyond the grounds of the Norfolk Superior Courthouse to prohibit any individuals from demonstrating in any manner about Reed, law enforcement, the DA, potential witnesses, and evidence within 500 feet of the court complex during the trial. Judge Cannoni then issued an order granting the Commonwealth's motion, asserting that Commonwealth's perceived inconveniences overcame everyone else's First Amendment rights without regard for any differentiation between members of the public, and expressly ordered that no individual may demonstrate in any manner, include carrying signs or placards within 200 feet of the courthouse complex during the trial of this case, unless otherwise ordered by this court. This complex includes the Norfolk Superior Courthouse and the parking area behind the Norfolk County Register and Deeds building. Individuals are also prohibited from using audio enhancing devices while protesting. Speech that does not qualify as a demonstration was not restricted. Thus, a nearby cafe could advertise breakfast using a bullhorn and parade its menu on picket signs and placards. Celtics and Bruins fans could similarly honor their team by hooting, hollering, and carrying placards. And in fact, commercial speech was permitted within the zone. In advance of the second trial, the Commonwealth again moved for a buffer zone, but with a larger area, again encompassing private property and traditional public fora, including public sidewalks and other areas. Commonwealth also sought specific instruction to request police use force to quash any dissent or protest. See Exhibit B, which we'll look at here in a bit. Without an opportunity for affected persons to intervene or be heard, Judge Cannoni issued an order on March 25th granting the Commonwealth's motion, asserting that the basis for the first motion warranted a larger buffer zone for the second trial, and expressly ordered that no individual may demonstrate in any manner, including carrying signs or placards, within 200 feet of the courthouse complex during the trial of this case, unless otherwise ordered by this court. This complex includes Norfolk Superior Courthouse building and the parking area behind the Register of Deeds building. This buffer zone shall further be extended to include the areas bounded by Bates Court, Ballard Street, Ames Street, and Court Street. Individuals are also prohibited from using audio enhancing device while protesting. Judge Cannoni lacks the authority to issue an order taking away anyone's First Amendment rights outside of the courthouse. You are correct. Unless they are parties to the proceeding before her or in privity with them. This court may enjoin Judge Cannoni from engaging in acts that she has no authority to take. It should do so immediately. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit has already indicated the buffer zone order was likely not narrowly tailored due to a lack of mens rea requirement, i.e., it likely applies equally to speech directed towards random passerbys and speech directed towards trial participants. Massachusetts state police officers took action to enforce the buffer zone order during the first trial, and the state police, including defendants Doe 1, 2, and 3, under the control and direction of defendant Noble, are acting to enforce the buffer zone injunction. State police officers interfere with news gathering and with Walsh exercising her clearly established rights. On Friday, May 9th, Walsh was within the buffer zone created by the order of the Judge Cannoni in the Karen Reed case. Walsh had been there for several hours without incident. During that period, she was wearing a sweatshirt that read "Criminals Control Norfolk County." Okay, I had it backwards. Norfolk County is controlled by criminals. Criminals control Norfolk County. And the logo, Microdots. This is a Microdot sweatshirt. Ooh, Microdots sells that sweatshirt? Okay, sorry. Squirrel. I saw a squirrel. I saw a squirrel. Store. Oh, I don't see it. Dang it. I would buy one. I would buy one in a second. Let's see. Oh, it goes back to their YouTube. Dang it. I want one. I got a framed sweatshirt. I want one. Okay. Go back. Okay. Dang it. All right. During that period, she was wearing a sweatshirt that read, "Criminals Control Norfolk County." The sweatshirt appears as below, right there. That's the sweatshirt. "Criminals Control Norfolk County." As Walsh was leaving a bathroom and heading to her vehicle that was parked within the zone, she was surrounded by 3 unknown Massachusetts state police officers, defendants John Doe 1, 2, and 3. The defendant officers detained Walsh, saying the words to the effect, "You're not going anywhere." At that point, one of the defendant state police officers stated he was going to charge Walsh with a criminal offense for wearing the sweatshirt, saying words to the effect as, "You're going to catch a charge." The officers then falsely asserted that Walsh had been warned about the sweatshirt previously by Massachusetts State Police Sergeant Hardman. Walsh had not, in fact, received any such warning. At that point, Walsh faced the dilemma of either continuing to wear the sweatshirt or remove it. Due to familial obligations that evening, Walsh could not afford to be arrested, so she removed the sweatshirt. Below the sweatshirt, Walsh was wearing a shirt that read "Journalism is not a crime" and "Free Turtle Boy," and included the face of noted Massachusetts journalist Aidan Kearney, aka Turtle Boy. That looks like this: "Journalism's not a crime, free Turtle Boy." Walsh had asked an officer of the Dedham police whether the t-shirt was permitted within the buffer zone. He responded that he was not sure whether it was. If the Dedham police are unsure if a certain shirt violates the buffer zone, a person of ordinary firmness and intelligence cannot be expected to divine its meaning. Thus, in order to ensure Walsh could get to her car without being arrested, Walsh had no choice but to remove it and walk through the buffer zone clad only in a brassiere on top. As Walsh was exiting for the day, while walking with a YouTube content creator, journalist Sergeant Hardman accosted Walsh and said words to the effect of "You're causing a," though he never said what Walsh was causing, and that she was told about this, threatening her for having worn the sweatshirt. Upon information and belief that the only reason Walsh was not arrested by Sergeant Hardman for wearing the sweatshirt on May 12th was because an individual was filming the encounter. Buffer zone, because it's being employed against citizens, including Walsh, merely for wearing clothing with words on it that state police officers do not like. This is cut and dry, 100% against the First Amendment. This is absolutely 100% illegal. The buffer zone is illegal. And police officers telling someone you cannot wear that sweatshirt because the words offend me is ridiculous. So count one is the buffer zone is illegal and against the Constitution. Count two, plaintiff repeats and realleges each and every allegation in the paragraphs here. The Doe defendant's conduct of threatening Walsh on account of her May 9th, 2025 constitutionally protected activity of wearing a sweatshirt is unconstitutional and violates her First Amendment right to freedom of speech and expression. It is clearly established that there is a First Amendment right to wear expressive clothing in and around a courthouse. 100%. I mean, this is cut and dry. You could just, oh my God. I'm so blown away. Those 1, 2, and 3 unlawfully and unreasonably detained Walsh because of her words on her sweatshirt. Such a seizure was warrantless without probable cause. There is no governmental interest to warrant such intrusion on Walsh's interest. Due to Doe's 1, 2, and 3 unlawful conduct, Walsh is entitled to all allowable damages under law. Walsh desires to continue to wear expressive clothing on the sidewalks near or abutting the Dedham Superior Courthouse. Violating Walsh's Fourth Amendment rights proximately caused her damage. Walsh has been injured or reasonably fears imminent injury by these constitutional violations, and Walsh is entitled to relief, including but not limited to compensatory damages and injunctive and declaratory relief. Count 4, defendant's conduct of issuing and enforcing the buffer zone injunction is unconstitutional, violates plaintiff's rights to due process law under the Fourth Amendment. Demand for trial by jury. When you have one of the top, if not the very top First Amendment lawyer in the country backing your claim, I think you better rethink your stuff, because holy gamoly, what are we freaking doing, man? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? I didn't. How are we doing this? So yeah, it's been filed. I don't see the, I wanted to see the attachment B or whatever it was. But yeah, this is ridiculous. And then this is today. This happened today. So this got filed yesterday, and these guys tried to do this again today. I love it. I love it. She's just like, take me to jail. She doesn't have to leave. That's the thing. She doesn't have to leave. And I'm not sharing. Damn it.
Speak for the fucking day.
Did we have an issue with this before? When you're walking through here with the sweatshirt?
I'm leaving.
I understand.
I'm not congregating. I'm not protesting. I'm fucking leaving.
Right, but what's the rule?
There's no rules about this one. It doesn't say Karen Reed.
It has to do with the case, right?
No, it doesn't. It has to do with something else. A guy whose kid was just murdered.
Anything. So there's their argument, their stupid argument. These two stupid people are arguing because it says the Commonwealth, it has to do with the Karen Reed case. So everything or anything that anybody wears that says Norfolk County or the Commonwealth or anything, oh yeah, no, exactly. You know what? The only reason I would go there is because I was thinking about this today, man. I haven't been on vacation yet this year. Maybe I should go there. And you think this sweatshirt is bad? Holy God. I thought of so many sweatshirts today that I could put on. Like, I mean, all right, give me this 1 second. It's medication time. We haven't even got to any of the case today. We've been at this 52 minutes. I haven't even got to the case. But yeah, I mean, this just blows my mind, man. Like, you're going to have two police officers that say you can't wear a hoodie that says criminals run Norfolk County. It's insanity, man. It's insanity. So yeah, I thought of so many good sweatshirts I'd put on and go and stand right outside there. Oh yeah. And I wouldn't just say Norfolk County. I'd say the MSP, the Massachusetts State Police. You know, unbelievable. Yeah, no, don't. That's the only reason I would go to that stupid state. I wouldn't stay there. I'd actually drive every single day. If I went there for multiple days, I would stay in another state completely and then just drive there every day. So I didn't actually try and spend as little money as I possibly could in Massachusetts because they suck that bad. But yeah, so we'll see, because Canoni has until tomorrow to revise the buffer zone. She has to the appeals court. That's not going to make her happy. You know, she's not going to be happy about that. But the appeals court has said you have to revise your buffer zone, your stupid buffer zone. All right, so we had like I said, we had the kids' testimony. I wish I could find Sue's thing. We had the John DePietro. Man, people went off on him on that. John. How do you spell his stupid name? ETRO. Yeah. This was yesterday. Oh, I'm not sharing. John DePetro. Court is canceled because defendant is hungover, ? And then puts a picture like this up. This is the kind of crap this guy does. Wow, look at the taillight in the Sally Port. Brutal evidence against Karen Reed. This glass on the bumper thing, we're going to get to that. So this was, I guess, his take on the niece. Long post on niece testimony. Niece takes the stand, called him JJ. Calm, very well spoken. Every juror watching, most note taking. Relationship was dependent on the day. Karen favored her brother. Karen would give her cold shoulder. See, JJ relationship with Karen changed the end of 21, 22. They're fighting a lot. More arguments toward night after lunch. John and Karen would argue on the phone. John was frustrated. Karen was always loud, angry, and upset. Karen would not leave. She knows there was tension. You know, it's everything. Karen never checked on niece. See, that's not what she said at all. That is not what she said at all. She said that no, they went places. She did stuff. She even stayed at her house by herself without John. So she went to Karen Reed's house and stayed the night there without John multiple times. So yeah, this guy's anyway. So okay, so then we get the niece testifies. It's, you know, it's not the best testimony for Karen Reed. You do have to take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully the jurors did, because like I said, this is an impressionable girl that has been told by all of these people around her that Karen is the devil for the last 2 years. So then we get into now we start getting into the scientific evidence. So we start getting into, actually, let me go with, let's see, who's got a, all right, Andrea. So now we start getting into some scientific evidence, and we call this trooper. I'm going to go ahead and go back to one.
Who's the sitting witness stand? So I agree. I think there were a lot of problems with this. She did.
Stop to the jury and spell your last name for the court.
My name is Zachary Clark. My last name is spelled C-L-A-R-K.
And what do you do for us?
I'm a sergeant with the state police, sir.
And how long in total have you worked for the?
So he processed the car.
Auto was selected.
He took fingerprints, didn't find any fingerprints, and then took pictures
and the street around it.
And Trooper Clark, what do you recall in reference to the snow accumulation on the area of the lawn near the flagpole?
And then I guess tried to
It's like he's put in the disc to try to show the jury he's being comprehensive.
Thank you,
like, let's see the.
Nice.
So he took pictures of the inside of the car.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have 261 photograph outside of the Canton Police Station.
I'm reading.
But
and is that?
But you can, I mean, it's kind of an odometer reading, but I mean,
as far as when you took this photograph outside of the
is that
police station,
I guess that's a 5. It could be a 9. I mean,
and Ms. Gilman, if I could have 2617.
You couldn't tell if that last number was a 5 or a 9, or at least I couldn't.
Just zoom in a little on the center of that photograph.
Exactly. So, all right. So this guy identifies the thing. Then we get Unetti's cross. Now, the defense is doing something interesting. Every witness gets asked this very first question.
Your earliest involvement in this case was on February 1st of 2022?
That's correct.
Well, not that question. Okay.
And by the way, at that time, you
So
were a trooper assigned to the crime scene services
there
section?
is a
That's correct.
And that
there
was
is a
in which town?
particular question that they're going to get to.
Massachusetts.
Where I was assigned, sir?
Yes,
Maynard.
Maynard, okay. About a year later, you actually joined the Norfolk CPAC unit, or the Norfolk Detectives Unit, correct?
That's correct.
Approximately 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years.
That's correct.
And so you were there when Lieutenant Tully was removed as the supervisor of that unit, correct?
That's sustained, and folks are to disregard that.
So they're trying to get in. They're trying to get Tully stuff in there too. They're trying to get the discipline against Trooper Tully into this through these witnesses, and they're not able to. But they're also trying to get every witness that comes up, they're trying to get them to agree that Proctor was and we're at what, 219? That Proctor was so let's see.
You learned that Michael Proctor had called your unit, resulting in your involvement in this case on that date, correct?
That's right.
And Michael Proctor had requested that you go to the Canton Police Station?
That's correct.
At the time, were you aware that the Canton Police Station, or the Canton Police Department, I should say, had a conflict of interest with this investigation? Objection.
Rephrase it.
Well, were you aware when you were called out on this case that John O'Keefe had been found mortally wounded on Brian Albert's lawn?
No, he didn't know that.
I was advised of that fact upon my arrival.
Okay. And you were you advised of the fact that Brian Albert's brother was a Canton police detective?
I did not know that.
All right. Still, it was the Canton Police Station and not a state police barracks where Michael Proctor instructed you to go. At the time, Michael Proctor was a state trooper.
So this is,
Advised
yeah,
that prior
this
to the
is where they
interview,
get in. They're
You
trying to
conducted
get
that
this
interview along
into
with
every
Michael
witness.
Proctor, correct?
Correct.
At the time, Michael Proctor was a state trooper in that unit, correct?
Yes, he was.
And you knew he was also the lead investigator on the case, correct?
He was the case officer, yes.
Case up.
So this guy says, okay, he's the case officer on the case. So then they go through a little bit more, blah, 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 blah. Then we get Evan Brent.
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth called Evan Brent to the stand.
Okay.
And Evan Brent is another
22.
Yes, I was.
And where were you requested to go on that date?
I was requested to respond to an address in Canton.
And do you recall what that address was?
He was the picture guy that took pictures of the taillights that they all found when they were all combing through the area, basically around the at 34 Fairview, right? So he took the pictures at 34 Fairview. And let's see, does he get he gets the Proctor question, I believe.
Yes, there was Lieutenant Tully, Sergeant Buchanan, Trooper Proctor, Trooper DeChico, and Trooper Moore.
And when you arrived there, what were you asked to document on that occasion?
There was a search effort.
All right, so, basically he's the guy that he's the guy that took the pictures. But let's see what he says about Proctor being
that you were the photographer on scene, correct?
I don't know what Michael Proctor did for a report, so I can't testify to that.
Okay, but you didn't write a report.
I wrote a report of what I did, showing up at the scene and taking photos, and then submitting those photos to the Norfolk County Detectives Unit.
You knew at the time that Michael Proctor was the lead investigator on the case, correct?
Yes, I did.
Oh. So Michael Proctor's not just the case officer? I thought he was just the case officer. Wait, let's go back again. Really?
What I did, showing up at the scene and taking photos, and then submitting those photos to the Norfolk County Detectives Unit.
You knew at the time that Michael Proctor was the lead investigator on the case, correct?
Yes, I did.
No way. And then basically got into, in this next part, I'm going to go grab a water. We'll let this play. But how many times did they call you back out to 34 Fairview? Just the one time. Did you go out on February 10th? So yeah, I'll let you, Nettie, do it. Be right back.
You knew at the time that Michael Proctor was the lead investigator on the case, correct?
Yes, I did.
And
didn't get the memo on the case agent.
Other dates in February, on February 8th of 2022, were you asked to go back to 34 Fairview Road to document and photograph anything found on that day?
I do not believe so, no.
What about February 10th?
No.
February 11th?
Again, my only involvement was on February 3rd.
So that means that on February 18th, nearly 3 weeks after January 29th, you were not asked to go back to 34 Fairview to document or photograph anything on the lawn that day, correct?
Correct.
I have nothing further, sir. Thank you.
Any questions, Mr. Lally?
Very briefly.
Okay. When you say Proctor was the lead investigator, don't you mean case agent?
Just for clarity, Trooper Brennan, you did write a report in relation to your response documentation on February 3rd, 2022, correct?
That is correct.
And you mentioned that you also took notes, is that correct?
That is correct.
And what did those notes entail?
It detailed several items that were collected, my response times, and who else was there on scene.
Now, all right. When you were there on scene, as far as 34 Fairview on February 3rd, what did you observe as far as these? You mentioned.
All right, so that's totally this guy's testimony. All right, and then we have another, and I don't even know if I remember
Brian
this
who?
guy.
Your Honor, as this witness is approaching, can I just move into evidence clips 19 and 20 that were previously played for the jury?
Yes.
I don't even remember this guy's stuff.
Okay, Gallerani. There he is on the list. Just want to make sure I know how to spell his name.
They all look the same.
Yet another new witness.
So this guy was, yeah, like she said, he was not in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good
He
afternoon,
was
sir.
not in
Good afternoon.
trial one.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for the court?
Ryan Gallerani, Gallerani.
And what do you do for work, sir?
I'm currently employed as a sergeant for the Needham Police Department.
And how long in total have you been a member of the Needham Police Department?
19 years.
Newton Police Department, okay.
How long have you held the rank of sergeant? You did work as a detective with the Needham Police Department. What
Needham
training have you received
Police
in regards to
Department,
collection of biological samples?
I've been certified by the Mass State Police since 2015 in collecting DNA.
Now, can you explain just briefly to the jury sort of what that process samples from on that occasion?
I collected samples from Trooper Proctor and Sergeant Buchanan.
And again, briefly, can you explain to the jury the process of that? Were you ever asked to do any buccal swabs of Chief Berkowitz of the Canton Police Department?
I'll allow that.
No.
Were you ever asked to do any buccal swabs of Detective Kevin Albert of the Canton Police Department?
No.
Were you ever asked to do any buccal swabs of Lieutenant Brian Tully of the Massachusetts State Police?
No.
O'Hara?
Thank you.
No, just
Okay, quick witness. All right, that's why I don't remember him. I do kind of now. I remember him now because it was so like not. I took these DNA tests from Proctor and Buchanan and I think that was it, right? Just the two of them. So okay, then we have Maureen Hartnett. Maureen Hartnett.
There she is. I'm waiting to see.
So Lally, you notice Lally got a couple of times in the spotlight there. He got to do some questioning. And so now we have Marie Hartnett is the...
You consider stand wherever you're comfortable. Please keep your voice up, okay?
She is
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Brennan.
the crime laboratory.
Good afternoon.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and offer the spelling of your last name?
And of course, now it's Brennan's
My name is
back in
Maureen
the seat.
Hartnett, Hartnett.
Could you tell us where you presently work?
I work at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory.
Before you began working at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory, did you receive any education, any further schooling after high
So
school?
when we go through her, yes, she's educated. So she goes through, talks
Also
about
look from the
what
right
she
side of the
did.
lenses to pay detail or attention to what you described from the back view that stood out to you?
Are you referring to the damaged area?
I am.
Yes. So I did take notes of that area and as well as had additional photographs taken of that area.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So we talk about the car.
I'm showing you a photograph. Do you recognize it?
Yes.
What is it?
This is a close-up photograph of the rear passenger side tail light area.
Does that photo depict what you saw that day?
Yes, it does.
Is it a fair, accurate
So of course we got the tail light, right? But then we go, okay, so she
Would you
goes,
mind 67 to the jury?
we're going to talk about the glass that's on
There are 2 pointers
the
in front of you.
tail light,
Would you
okay?
mind
Or that's on the
pointing out
bumper.
for the jury what stood out to you? And Ms. Gilman, could we get a little bit of a close-up on that bumper, please?
Okay, so we close up. And I wasn't,
So I can see one of
because
those.
I was at work, I was not paying super close attention to this. But listen to this
It's a little
testimony,
difficult to see,
okay?
but I do see one of the larger pieces of apparent glass right here. Would it be better if I use this one?
Could you? Do you mind?
So this piece here is a larger apparent piece of glass. I think that was the largest one that I saw.
And those 2 white stickers, could you tell us what those are?
This sticker, this sticker here is marking where the apparent pieces of glass are.
Is there another sticker above, or is that?
I'm not sure. If you could close up, I'm not sure what that is. Yes, so that is another sticker. And next to that sticker are additional pieces of glass.
That's a sticker and that's a sticker.
Those items to the right of that picture, are those pieces of glass?
No.
Yes, I would say that.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back even farther before they zoomed in. Pictures, especially, so we as human beings have, everything in our world. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Everything in our world is in 3 dimensions, correct? We have up, down, and this way and that way. And we have depth, basically depth, right? I look at this, I see this, and then behind that, I see my screen. On a picture, you don't have depth. Even on 3D, like 3D in the movies, you have some depth there, but it's, all of that is your eyes being tricked. So she just testified that there is a sticker here on the bumper, and that this sticker up here is also a sticker, that this is not a reflection, because you can see this is the tailgate. The tailgate starts here. This is the tailgate. This is the lift gate of the car. So the jurors are going to have this when they go back.
So I can see
and
one
deliberate.
It's a little difficult to see, but I do see one of the larger pieces of apparent glass right here. Would it be better if I use this one?
Could you? Do you mind?
So this piece here is a larger apparent piece of glass. I think that was the largest one that I saw.
And those 2 white stickers, could you tell us what those are?
This sticker, this sticker here is marking where the apparent pieces of glass are.
Is there another sticker above, or is that?
I'm not sure. If you could close up, I'm not sure what that is. Yes, so that is another sticker, and next to that sticker are additional pieces of glass.
Those items to the right of that picture, are those pieces of glass?
And now when you yes, when you zoom in,
I'm not sure what that
is going to look like another sticker. It really is. Now this zoomed in right here without the overall perspective, it absolutely looks like another sticker. And it also, if you go back to this, this is the example too of how lighting, because this is a flash. This car is used a flash. This bumper material right here is most likely black, but it's really reflecting the light. The light is absorbing into that bumper and turning it white. So there's all kinds of stuff going on here. But even here, you can kind of tell that that's not really another part of the bumper. That's part of the lift gate. But then once you zoom in even closer, then your eyes are going to tell you that, yes, it's kind of like the Sally port and the car being mirror imaged. Your brain is going to tell you that car is, that's the driver's side, the passenger side. You're not going to be able to differentiate, even though you know that car was inverted. Same thing here. Your brain is going to tell you, oh yeah, that's a sticker, especially this close up. Oh yeah, that's another sticker and another piece of glass.
Yes, so that is another sticker, and next to that sticker are additional pieces of glass.
Those items to the right of that picture, are those pieces of glass?
Yes, I would say that's an apparent piece of glass here, and this one.
And could we just go down to the bottom?
And I don't know if I don't.
For the jury. What stood out to you in this
Hey. I mean, you can give us a close up. I don't know if
So I
with the
can see one of
flash
the,
it's going to help.
It's a little difficult to see, but I do see one of the larger pieces of apparent glass right here. Would it be better if I use this one?
You know, I wasn't, like I said, I was working. I wasn't watching the screen, and then until Alessi said something later.
Could you?
We'll get to that here.
So this piece here is a larger apparent piece of glass. I think that was the largest one that I saw.
And those two white stickers, could you?
Oh, now it's a
tell us
little
what those
easier to
are?
see. It's like the pool
This
camera
sticker,
turned down the.
Sorry, this sticker here is marking where the apparent pieces of glass are.
Is there another sticker above, or is that?
I'm not sure. If you could close up, I'm not sure what that is.
That does look like another sticker up there.
See, she's
That is, yes,
like if I do forward to my computer, it's going to help.
And next to that
No, Emily,
sticker
it's not
are
gonna help.
additional pieces of glass.
Those items to the right of that picture.
Okay.
Are those pieces of glass?
Yes, I would say that's
over
an
there.
apparent piece of glass here and this one.
Could we just go down to the bottom part again, please?
Yeah, I can see that.
So
now.
nobody really
Down up there.
catches.
Coming, take that down.
But
that's,
Did you collect
some of that looks like
the
salt.
items
Some of
glass?
that looks like
Yes, I
glass.
did.
Okay, so all right. So then we get the tail light piece, and we get another instance of just absolute silliness. So I think we go to lunch on the silliness, I think. So we have
Take that down, please.
we have the tail
Do
light.
you have
piece,
the
we
actual
tail
item,
light
the actual
item,
housing with you?
right?
I believe it is here, yes.
Put into evidence. Remove the item from that box.
Yes.
Let me speed this back up to 1.5.
May I approach?
Yes.
So I wonder what she wasn't able to remove.
All right.
Eyebrow gloves, yes.
Was she unable to remove a screw, or was she unable to disconnect a wire harness? Which one of the two was it?
So she opens the thing.
On a whole lot of other things holding
Now-
a tail light housing,
She does open the box first and then put her
Into,
gloves on.
the frame of the vehicle.
And Andrea makes
Check that
note of
out.
that too.
Open the box before you put the gloves on.
Yeah, you don't put the gloves on, then handle the box, then handle the scissors. So then she brings out the actual tail light out of the bag.
Hold it up high, like
All right.
You could hold that so the jury can see it.
As
Hold it
Andrea
up high,
says,
please.
like
Thank you.
the Simba.
hold it up high, like Simba. Hold it up high.
Oh.
You could return that to the box.
So she returns it to the box. All right. They want to bring that into evidence.
There are additional items in that box as well.
I would move this item into evidence, please.
So I'd like to move this item into evidence. And she says, okay.
There are additional items in that box as well.
I only want to introduce that one item.
Okay, so it's in your bag. You need to take that bag out. There are also other items in that bag.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Oh boy.
So we get another moment where the jury gets to say, what the hell is going on? Why can't you guys get your evidence straight? Like, why are you doing this to us? Why?
Yes, why don't you come in? Actually, Charles, the lunch is here. All right, Joey, the lunch isn't here, so.
So lunch is here. Oh, lunch is here. State's completely screwed up their evidence again. Why don't you go ahead and go to lunch and we'll figure this all out? Good Lord.
Free time to take a break.
Just like last time.
So there was another, and I just remembered, there was another instance today where somebody called Yannetti an asshole during the trial. And we're not sure if it's Bev, but somebody called Yannetti a name. So let's go ahead. Let's listen to this here.
At the time of that interview on July 18th, before you began questioning of Colin Albert, had Michael Proctor revealed to you his connections with the Albert family?
Sustained.
When you approach.
Go on to the next area.
So he says, can we approach? He says, go on to the next thing. She's like, no, you're not going to get to approach. You don't get to talk to me.
Did Michael Proctor reveal to you that he and Kevin Albert had socialized together by drinking alcohol in his cruiser?
Sustained and jurors, I'm going to ask you to strike that question. Disregard.
I need to be heard.
So then he drops the bomb. Like, did Michael Proctor tell you that Kevin Albert and him got wasted in his cop car and Kevin Albert lost his gun? No, he didn't say that. But so then Yannetti says, I need to be heard.
Sidebar.
I will hear you.
Right there. Asshole. You hear it right there.
I will hear you.
Just as they're cutting out, we hear asshole. We don't know who exactly it's from. Now, this is a recovery addict. He's covering the trial as well.
Sidebar.
I will hear you.
He caught it.
Hang on. Okay.
And if anybody can get it out, this guy, recovery addict, he's really good with sound. He is awesome with sound. So if he can get this out, if anybody can get this out, he can.
Barbie, let me play this one more time, and I'm going to slow it down maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So Yannetti's dropping bombs. Like even if he doesn't get to do this, he doesn't get to bring the Tully stuff in. He doesn't get to bring the Kevin Albert with Proctor stuff in. The jury has already heard it, though. The jury has heard it, and she's going to have to let the stuff in about Proctor. He got fired because of the stuff that he did on this case. It's going to come in. It has to.
Ready? Here we go.
When you approach.
Go on to the next area. And see if you can do that.
Did Michael Proctor reveal to you that he and Kevin Albert had socialized together by drinking alcohol in his cruiser?
Sustained and jurors, I'm going to ask you to strike that question. Disregard.
I need to be heard at sidebar.
I will hear you.
Listen.
That's
What?
pretty much. I mean,
Who said this? Let me just rewind just one more time. Let's.
I will hear you.
that's pretty much plain as day. Asshole.
Somebody said something in a mic.
Now, was it Canoni? We don't know for sure. We don't know 100% that it was her. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Who else has a mic, though, that's going to get picked up? I don't know.
Somebody said something in a mic. Right. It could have been counsel. The reason why I think it's counsel is if we go back and look at, let's see, let me turn the sound off so it doesn't make you dizzy from going.
And I believe there is a mic at the council table.
At high speed.
Maybe not, though.
Oh, it's to the left of her mic is not good. This does look more like the judge. The judge is sitting to the left of her microphone.
I'm going to ask you to strike that question. Disregard.
I need to be heard at sidebar.
I will hear you.
I will hear you. She gets up. She walks.
No, it's definitely not one of the jurors.
She's right in front of her mic. right in front of her mic when she says that. She gets up and moves towards it.
Sidebar.
I will hear you.
I'm pretty sure it's her, because who else has a freaking mic there, right? Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's crazy. All right, so we get the box of goodies. I want to hear what. Not only are there other items in the box, there are other items in the bag that she just put the lighting assembly into. So she puts the lighting assembly into the bag. There are other items in the bag. There are other items in the box. It's another complete prosecution shit show. Yep. All right. So when they get that figured out, I guess, then we get to more direct examination. Then we do the shirt. She gets the shirt in. She talks about all the things. Then we do the t-shirt. It's just very different than the last I don't know that they talked about the cuttings or the sweepings and the debris and stuff. I mean, maybe she did. I didn't listen that. But I don't know that she actually got into the taillight stuff, which maybe she didn't. Maybe she did the scrapings of the taillights, but it was other people in the crime lab that did the testing on it that actually. Yeah, that's right. It was other people that testified that it was taillight debris. Okay, so then we get the cross examination. So he basically says, she doesn't do conclusions. She doesn't do. Now they're going to. So this line of questioning is not really for her. He knows that she does not do this stuff. She is not the one that's going to make a medical determination on injuries, but the more you can get this in front of the jury, the better. Yep. So yeah, so he's doing this for the jury's benefit, not so much for him, just so they can get in there, they can see this picture more, they can make their own kind of determination to say, what do you guys, Yeah. So then he asked her about swabbing solo cups. So two swabs from the same cup, and then nobody knows what happened to the solo cups. And nobody knows what happened to the stuff afterwards. Nobody knows where it went. Basically, that came from underneath. But they never actually tested the blood either, which is kind of wild. All right, so now we get to the bumper glass here. So, okay, so we get there. So skip a little bit here. It's just well, we had our evening freak out there, and damn it, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm so stupid. I wasn't sharing. Damn it! I apologize. All right, so we're going. It's right in front of me too. That's the thing. It's right in front of me. So okay, so we go to the sticker, right? So he's going through this evidence here.
So, Ms. Hartnett, on your direct examination, you stated that there were 2 stickers and that there were therefore glass associated with each sticker, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, 2 stickers and glass associated with each sticker, correct?
Yes, correct.
In fact, there's only 1 sticker, and the second sticker is merely a reflection of the first sticker, and therefore, you have doubled the stickers and you've doubled the amount of glass on the bumper. Can you see that? Can you determine that from the photo?
No, can I see the other photo, please?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we could, Your Honor, with your permission, go to Exhibit 130.
It
Is
absolutely
it
is a
a
reflection.
reflection?
It 100% is a
Let's
reflection.
continue on with Alessi.
33.
This is 100% a reflection.
Chat, if all of you are saying, I thought it looked weird on direct because wouldn't the sticker on the tailgate be flat and not horizontal?
Yes. That is 100% a reflection. That is 100% a reflection from the bumper to the very clean, because it's this is a 2022 Lexus. It's going to be reflectively clean, sharp. And of course, she's not going to be able to see it here. She's going to say, I can't see. I don't know what you're talking about.
You asked to see this one. Can you now make a determination, having seen both of them, whether there is in fact just one sticker and therefore one volume of glass associated with it?
No, I cannot.
Really?
You're saying this is a reflection?
Can you hand her the photo?
I can't testify,
Okay.
so I'm asking you.
He's asking you if it is a reflection. That's what he's asking you. If it is a reflection. Ma'am, what does your report say? That's why you have a report.
With Your Honor's permission, if we could go back to the other picture.
Okay.
He wants to look at this photograph.
That is
And you could zoom
100%
in.
a reflection.
Just hand them to her.
Do you see a reverse B in that picture?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh,
Is that
Alessi,
a
what?
reverse B as in Bob?
I'm going to fail this eye exam. This is a terrible eye exam, but I see where Alessi's going with it. He can probably see it. Wait.
No, could you zoom in on each of the stickers for me, please?
We'll do whatever you would like to do to answer the question. So
Sure.
Alessi's like, we would like to clear this matter up.
And then if I could just see the other sticker, please.
Absolutely.
Because if it was on the tailgate, wouldn't it be flat against the tailgate?
Yes, I believe that is a reverse B, correct.
And doesn't that mean that it's a mere reflection and that there's only one sticker that you put on and therefore only one volume of glass associated with one sticker?
Can you say that question again? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
The court reporter's like, sir, speak up.
Oh.
So, Chad, whose fault is it for asking if those are two different stickers and not catching the reflection?
I mean,
is it the witness? Is it the prosecutor? Or is it both? Because Alessi caught it, and a lot of you in the chat were just like,
now, can you imagine? So this is very similar also to the reversed Sally Port video. Like, I doubt that this was in his cross-examination until they got to that point, because I'm sure he caught it. He's like, wait a minute. And she even said, if you go back to what she said originally, that it looked odd. She even said that looks odd. I don't know if that's, and then when he zoomed in, remember we talked about he zoomed in tighter, and you could really see the sticker. Like, you could really see and I'm trying to find that when she actually yeah, right here.
So I can see one of the, it's a little difficult to see, but I do see one of the larger pieces of apparent glass right here. Would it be better if I use this one?
Could you? Do you mind?
So this piece here is a larger apparent piece of glass. I think that was the largest one that I saw.
And those two white stickers, could you tell us what those are?
Those two white stickers.
This sticker, this sticker here is marking where the apparent pieces of glass are.
Is there another sticker above, or is that?
I'm not sure. If you could close up, I'm not sure what that is.
If you get close, I'm not sure what that is. She, in her brain, it told her that she did not know what that was. In her brain, it says something is off on that one. Now we get to the cross, and I remembered to share.
What?
I remembered to share.
I'm going to let Alessi keep going with his cross, and then we'll talk about it.
I will stay by the microphone.
Because I want to see the report.
Conclude, because of the reflection and because of the...
Because as the Commonwealth, it's your job to know what is in the report and to ask those questions when you prep the witness. But also for the witness, it is important to know your report, and if something in the photo looks off with your report, to say, That's not what's reflected in my report.
Yeah.
The lawyers aren't always right.
Picking up. So therefore, can you now conclude, because of the reflection and because of the reverse B, that there is only, in actuality, and there was only in actuality, one sticker and one B, and therefore one volume of glass associated with this bumper?
I don't know specifically that it's a reflection. It's not unusual for me to use the same letter on a sticker if I'm going to collect the items of evidence together.
Now she's gonna now she's gonna double down that it's not a reflection. Really, that's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna. It's obviously a reflection. It's 100% obviously a reflection.
So if I had written it, on top or on the bottom of the scale on one of them and on the top of the scale on the other one, that is a possibility. It's difficult for me to tell by this picture.
What's your report
What
say?
I can tell you is that all the items of glass or apparent glass that are present on the bumper were collected together. So I can't say specifically by looking at this photo whether I just labeled two.
I 100% bet you the jurors can look at that photo and say that that is a damn reflection. I mean, come on.
Separate areas to make the photo show the pieces better, or if it is a reflection. I can't say.
I've been waiting for this absurdity to come back, and we get, yesterday we get Regis with is that your final answer? Today we get the absurdity with the an obvious reflection from the tailgate. I mean, if it's a piece of, look at it, the bumper, it's the same bumper material, but it's on the side of the car. It doesn't make any sense.
What we just went through, you're not able to tell.
And again, for the defense, today with this witness, the prosecution had no idea what was in the evidence bag.
Yep.
You've got a witness up there pulling things out, being like, and then there's this. She didn't say whatever the fuck this is. Her face did. That's not on the record. But she was like, I didn't put those in there. So you've got the whole evidence bag kerfuffle. And then you have just the lack of attention to detail from the prosecutor on direct in asking these questions. And so for the defense at this point, does it really matter what her answers are? Probably not, because it just looks terrible. Even if it is a genuine.
I mean, come on.
And the jury has watched it every step of the way.
Yep.
And I said multiple times early on in this trial where the prosecution has an advantage in a retrial is there aren't going to be these moments of,
it's so ridiculous.
Caitlin Albert isn't just someone you went to high school with, is it? Because the witnesses know what's coming. And yet, even though it's a retrial, and you would expect that there are not a lot of surprises because most of those moments, the inverted video and the rest of it has already happened in the first trial. So the prosecution is prepared and so are the witnesses. There are still these moments, especially with the evidence bags of, this is the shoe found at 34 Fairview. Oh, wait, no, the hospital. Just kidding. Well, this evidence bag should have one thing in it. And there's like all this other shit there.
Yep.
The why doesn't matter as much for the defense's purposes of arguing because their defense is that this investigation was not well done.
Yep.
The witnesses are making it easier for the defense to argue that this investigation was not well done.
They 100% are.
But I can't imagine that the jurors aren't just like, seriously? Maybe they'll think this is picky on whether it's a reflection or not. But this witness has got to be so mad.
Is a reflection and therefore equivocation, is that correct? Do you have any doubt whether there is a...
He picks his words carefully at the end of his cross, doesn't he?
Reflection on the photo that is on the screen at this moment. Do you have any doubt?
Oh, I would say it could be a possibility, yes.
Right. So you have doubt.
It's possible.
So you believe it's a possibility?
Yes, correct.
The jurors are going to be able to look at that and see that that is a reflection. It's 100% obvious that that is a reflection of glass. I mean, you can, going back, you can see it right there. This is where the lift gate starts. This is the lift gate and does not have it's not like the bumper continues all the way back here. The bumper doesn't continue past this. This is the edge of the bumper. This is where the lift gate starts. And if we go to the other picture, it's even more obvious with that one. You find the other photo. This one. This one is this is even more obvious where the tailgate starts, the lift gate starts. You can see how black the bumper is here because this is the bumper. This is a very direct flash, right? Like when you are taking photos, you kind of like to have, especially if you're trying to take photos of people. Now, evidence photos, it might be better to have light like this, but even here you can see that it's not the greatest, right? When he zooms in, it's a little better. But the fused light is better light because you're not going to get this very harsh flash, right? Like this is super harsh flash right here. You can tell in the reflection that the bumper is actually black. And then you get this reflection here of the edge of the bumper. This piece is this piece. Then you can tell how black the bumper actually is. And then you lose the reflection as you go higher because there could be some kind of texture or indentation in the thing. I mean, this right here, this is a light that's reflecting off of the bumper. So this is 100%
because of the reflection and because of the reverse B, that there is only.
You've got a witness up there pulling things out. There are still these moments, especially with the evidence bags of. See, I thought the dolly had the crime scene tape. That's about the only thing I can see. Well, this appalling.
Then we get a video of the snow melting off the car.
I don't recall seeing any precipitation on the vehicle, and I don't know when that photo was taken. So that
it's like it's melting before our very look at that. It's like
then we get the snow melting.
It's like it's melting before our very eyes. I don't think we've seen this part of this video before. Look at that. Things are falling off.
And we get the snow falling off right onto the bumper.
For everyone that is mobile gaming, crafting, painting, finishing up their dissertation, whatever you're doing, come on back real quick. We're going to back this up because come on back. The timestamp on heated. I don't because I remember my word as opposed to out top reasons.
This is the snow melting off the car.
And there's one
falling into the crime scene tape, falling into the bumper,
the back windshield, and then that other piece that was hanging on just.
Then the big old slides off.
Starts
that
dripping
piece
down the
slides
car.
off.
Holy moly! So it makes the stuttering. 10:05, 10:07.
Can you describe
the snow melting is one of the most interesting things that's
whatever white
happened
material
today.
was present on the back of the vehicle was falling off.
For sure.
And where was it falling onto?
The ground.
And did it hit anything before the ground?
The crime scene
For
tape.
example, did it hit the bumper before it hit the ground?
I didn't take note of that.
That was on January 29th, 2012.
Cheryl asked what I'm sure everybody's wondering if the event happened in January of 2022, because January 2022.
Yeah, so this is it's all fucking crazy. All right, and then we get to the hair.
To the left of the vertical
now,
line?
this is the last thing
Yes,
of the
I do see
day.
it
This
from
is
this
the
perspective
hair.
to the left. That's
Okay,
correct.
very good. And that's the apparent
We've got the picture of this hair.
hair.
Yes.
And you only
I
saw or found one.
I still don't know what to think about this. I'm really don't know what to think about this
Correct?
one.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, if we could, Mr. Wolk, now go to Exhibit 144A.
So take a quick look at this. We've got this hair. It curls to the left down here. It's all right.
And if you could zoom in on that for Ms. Hartnett and the jury's benefit.
now we have it.
And that's what she
like
was saying. From the
this
last photo, she was saying she could not tell if the ends of the apparent hair were touching the vehicle or coming off of the vehicle. So she's like, I don't know which way it is. But yes, for everyone in the chat that says, are we now literally splitting hairs? I mean, I think it's a fantastic.
And I'm going to go to, I just want to go to Andrea because that way we can stop it. All right, let me find the hair. So yeah, so we got this. This is a thing. So we see the little hook is to the left. All right. So then we bring up the other picture and we see the hook is completely the other way. So that's two different angles is what her argument is. So now we see this one is taken from, you can see the passenger side of the car. So this is taken from an angle off of this way. And this one on the right is taken basically straight on from the back of the car. What are you guys doing? Hey, what are we doing? Dogs. Getting into trouble. All right, so this one's taken from the side. You can see the passenger side. This one on the right is taken straight on. Damn it, not sharing again. Frick. I'm sorry. All right, this one over here on the left, you can see it's taken from the right angle of the car. This one here is taken from the straight on of it. So let's see what.
Would that be helpful? We zoom to get side by side. I mean, even from the overalls, I can tell that they're taking.
So let's go back. So from the very straight on, oh, that's a good one right here. So from the one from the right, it looks a lot flatter. The one that's taken straight on looks like, where is this hair attached? Where is this hair attached to the car? What, I mean, because it's not, if you're coming at it from this right angle here, and this is the hair right there, and you go in and look at it, and this picture is straight on. Go back, straight on. So if you go straight on into the hair and you see it's got this hook, the curve here. All right, so imagine what the hair is going to do. You can see that, let's call it the right side of the hair, I guess, right? If you go farther to the right, like you're looking head on this, if you go farther to the right, that hair is not going to look like this. I don't see how you get this hair if you go farther to the passenger side. I don't see how you go from this hair blow it up even bigger. I have no idea how you go from this hair looking straight on, to walking farther to the right. Now you're basically on the same, pretty much the same plane as far as the, if you look at the LX570, LX570, I mean, maybe this one is zoomed in a little farther, right? Because you're capturing less of the bumper. I'm trying to go through my brain to figure out how you would go from this hair to this hair by walking farther right. And I just don't know. I especially trying to figure out how is it holding on to the car? How is this thing attached? Oh, it's all so stupid. It's really, really, really stupid. So, okay, so this was basically the end. I think there was actually, let's see.
Yes, just by looking at those, to me, it looks like one is from slightly to the side of the vehicle and one is more directly head on.
Right, so one's slightly to the side and the other's a little bit more head on, but that's the only difference, correct? It's still the same from top to bottom.
It's not like it's on the opposite side.
Same orientation, correct?
That would cause it to be mirrored.
The vehicle didn't move, but the camera angle is different in both pictures. That's what I was saying in the other one. So the camera angle is different. One camera angle appears for who's ever taking the photo to be standing.
So I even want the camera angle. See how you do that.
Yes, I do.
Isn't the 570 in each picture oriented the exact same way?
They're the two.
Is it possible that the hair moved when someone took a photograph?
Possibly it moved?
Can you answer that question?
Again, I just can't make that conclusion because I didn't take the photo and the photos look like they're from different angles.
I mean, and this thing is, I mean, you got these little scratches and indent or whatever the hell these are. Are these reflections? Are these scratches? Are these, what is all this? And then you've got this tiny little hair. One tiny
you've
little
taken
hair.
Samples many times of apparent hair, correct?
Have I
speculating?
Sustained. I'd like to see counsel inside for a couple of minutes, please.
And I like how the
speculating.
Sustained. I'd like to see counsel inside for a couple of minutes, please.
I don't know if you can see the transcript here, but what's funny is it says speculating sustained. So that speculating was. Let's see.
It's a breeding on a piece of hair ever?
You're speculating as to what could be causing this difference. Are you speculating?
Sustained. I'd like to.
So it said objection sustained, and the transcript said, "I'd like to see counsel for a couple years, please." Obviously, the Facebook or the YouTube transcript is not 100% accurate because I don't want to see them at sidebar for a couple of years, please. No.
For a couple of minutes, please.
So, okay, so they do one more sidebar.
Handled this during the first trial. But from opposite sides of the it's from one
was
side, it's
it
going to
for
look
the day. I
necessarily
think we
make
got one more
the photos show the hair
question.
moved. That photograph on the left versus he let her.
We're zooming.
This is something to stand now. Thinks it's testified many very hard. He's letting her invite the evidence he wants in.
Your Honor, with the court's permission.
Sure, you can put it back up on the screen.
Thank you.
So we get one final question in. I think she basically said, "You get one more question. Ask her
Thank you for
what
your
she
patience, Ms.
thinks."
Hartnett. Do you have any explanation that you're certain of with regard to those two depictions?
Regarding what, sir? I'm sorry.
The two depictions.
Why
that
they
are up
look
on the screen.
different? Do I have any explanation of what?
Of those two depictions.
The difference
that you're
between them?
certain
Those are both a depiction of the same apparent hair that I collected from the vehicle.
Thank you.
All right, so turn on the lights, please. Turn that on.
God.
Counsel, this is the place to break. So we're going to break for today. Please, those same questions, do not discuss this.
So Alessi's not done with Marie Hartnett. They haven't gotten into the shirt. They haven't gotten into the debris from the shirt. I'm sure that's coming up tomorrow. And all right, my Alexa said, take your medication. So I will do that right now. But yeah, so it will be interesting. Zone. And see if they redo the order for the buffer zone, or if she thinks that, I don't know, the appeals court doesn't apply to her, maybe. Maybe, you know, I'm too good for your appeals court. That's what she thinks. She thinks she is above, no one is above the law except for Judge Beverly Canoni. Oh my goodness. This trial is so nuts. I don't even want to get what's going on in the real world right now, because that's just crazy. All these people, I love it though, that just one little aside, this whole thing with the new book that's out there by Jake Tapper and was Alex Abramson, where they get to just claim that it was the White House and under Biden that lied to everybody, and nobody could see for themselves that there was a cognitive decline in the former president. Jake Tapper gets to write a book and make probably millions of dollars, because I'm sure it's going to sell. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if anybody wants to buy that book. We find out that at a fundraiser, the guy has known George Clooney for years, but didn't recognize George Clooney. And when asked about it, because people had meetings with the guy, people had, and yet the media gets to just go, oh no, we didn't know, we didn't get it. I found it, by the way. And when you ask, Schumer yesterday gets to go, well, we're just looking forward. I know that we lied to you for years, but we're just going to move forward now. It's okay. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Vote out every incumbent needs to be voted out. Every single one. All of them. Every one of them. We are buying a red sweatshirt right now. Criminals control Norfolk County. Micro dots. This is step 1 to my trip to Massachusetts. I'm just kidding. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I wouldn't wear this hoodie. I'd wear a much, much, much worse hoodie. I can tell you that. Actually, let's get an XL. It depends on. Some larges fit me great, and some are a little small. I don't know. Most of my hoodies now are larges. I don't know. I'm not an extra large anymore. We'll go with the large. We're going to buy us a Microdots hoodie. I'm going to just hide this for a second while I do some things. I don't think you'll be able to see anything, but you never know. Okay, continue with shop. Oh. And continue with shop pay. And they're sending me a code. And shipping is $8.49. No problem. That's actually not a bad hoodie. $42 for a hoodie. Oh my gosh. Oh no, absolutely. I would totally go. Yeah. I would totally live stream from there if I went. It's tempting. Oh my gosh, it's tempting. I'd go there just to get arrested. I would, because you think this hoodie's bad. Oh, I would make one of the worst hoodies you've ever freaking seen. I would call them all kinds of names. I would have all kinds of words on there. Oh boy. You see a NASCAR jacket with all the sponsors all over it. I know I'd have a NASCAR jacket with all the freaking things I want to say about the Commonwealth, Norfolk County, the Massachusetts State Police, all of them. All right, let's see. So we're shipping it to the right place. Going to the right thing. Pay now. And we just bought us a hoodie. Yeah. You know what? I should have looked at other things too. Let's see. We got a frame. We got a yoga mat. And then we got, yeah, I still like that hoodie though. I love it. And it supports Microdots because he's a cool guy. Yeah, they got all kinds of good stuff here. Well, there's my notifications. And then, yeah. Metadata or it didn't happen. I like that. Oh my goodness. All right. And then what else we got cracking here? I think I'm hungry. Let's see. Notifications. For some reason, I keep getting these dog people. I don't know if it's oh, that would be funny. Oof. So I was following this Kess the Border Collie, and this person that has Kess or had Kess is in England, in Cheshire. I don't know how you say it. But has got a 25,000 follower account, right? And then, but Kess got old, like all dogs do, and eventually had liver failure. And that was like a week or so ago. And so that was Kess when Kess was a baby. And then this is the new one who's going to take over the mantle and has no name yet. And then can't even come home with the guy yet because he's still too young. But this will be the new Border Collie that will be following this account. So, yeah, just the random stuff that comes across my feed. I tell you what. Little tiny puppy. Little puppy. So, yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch Puppy grow up online. But, yeah. And then, yeah, I wanted to see, okay, one more thing. Where is... And if I don't use my headphones for very long, they go off. I'm going to see if there's a setting for that. Okay, so I wanted to go back to Sue because I wanted to see if she's had any of the juror reaction to the reflection. Alessi asking, did observe anything glass in the taillight? Hardnett just says she can't draw a conclusion about what material is. She can't say if it's a reflection. Hardnett examined the photo. She can't say by looking at the photo, but all pieces of glass were collected at the same time. He's asking if she has a doubt if it's a reflection. It's a possibility. Hardnett said it doesn't change what she collected, how it's labeled. No, so no real, she didn't tell us what the jurors thought about that. I'd be interested to see if they could see that it was a reflection or not. So I don't know. It's weird. That was totally a reflection. So, okay. So we're at the science and data portion of the Commonwealth's case. It seems like everything they try to do goes to crap on them. They can't get their evidence right. They invert the video. Now you've got this reflection, which they will definitely be able to tell in deliberations. They'll look at that. There's people taking notes. You know they are. They'll take a look at that. They'll go like, that's obviously a reflection. If I say that, but I also have to remind myself that this is Massachusetts. And Massachusetts is the second dumbest state in the union. So maybe they won't think it's a reflection. There is that possibility. There is the possibility that the people of Massachusetts are dumb enough to realize, or not realize, that that is a reflection on the bumper. But anyway, all right. We'll be back for another episode of craziness tomorrow. Tune in, please. And yeah, we will catch you all later. And I have a new outro tonight. I did a little short yesterday that was Agent Walker, it was Anthony. It was Tony last night. Today is Agent Walker. So, yeah, new outro. I got some more editing. I did get some editing done last night. I'm pretty much done with Wendy's, Melissa Cooper's interrogation scene. So that's exciting. Yeah, no, so everything's cooking along. And yeah, all right. So enjoy the outro, and I will see you tomorrow for some more craziness in this trial.
Introducing Agent Charles Walker from the Federal Enforcement Division, or Fed.
Misinformation is getting to be a very serious problem. It really interferes with what we are trying to do.
And what are you trying to do?
Excellent question. I'm afraid that's classified. You don't have the clearance.
Agent Walker is always a team player and appreciates the efforts of his colleagues.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
Agent Walker is a master interrogator and would never take things out of context to influence an interview.
My cousin Mindy is the bomb. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here. Somebody could see a call to action in these words.
A call to action for what?
Well, you tell us. They're your words. You wrote them.
Agent Walker, a calm, patient presence in the fight against misinformation.
These people can't even do stuff that's actually good enough for government work.